Hello, sports fans and baseball fans out there. I got another game for you today. This is not going to be a mismatch Monday game. It's not going to be any kind of a specialty game. It's just two good teams playing each other. We're going to have the 1985 Reds, who won 89 games in 1985, going up against the 1976 Pittsburgh Pirates, who won 92 games. So the two teams were good, and they were only separated by 3 games in the win column. There is a note that I want to make. Dave Parker was on both of these teams, but he will only be playing for the 85 Reds, not for the Pirates. The reason that I decided to keep him with the Reds is that the Reds needed him more. The Pirates are still a pretty good team even without Dave Parker. Your pitching matchup today is going to be Jay Tibbs for the Reds and Doc Medich for the 1976 Pirates. We are using the advanced game. The weather effects are a single 1-2 for both lefty and righty. Home run for lefty is 1-13. For a righty, it's 1-4. And I will go over the lineups as the teams come up. And the first team to bat, the visiting team, is going to be the Reds. So I will go over their lineup. They will have Gary Redus leading off and playing left field. Ron Oster will bat second and play second. Pete Rose will be the third batter and play first base. In the cleanup spot, we will have Dave Parker in right field. Number 5 will be Eddie Milner in center field. The 6th hitter will be Dave Concepcion at shortstop. Number 7 in the batting order will be Wayne Krenchicki, and he'll play third base. The 8th hitter will be Bo Diaz at catcher, and the 9th hitter, of course, Jay Tibbs, the pitcher. And so, with all of that out of the way, we are going to start with Gary Redus. And he gets a 4-9, and 4-9 is going to be a single. So Gary Redus is aboard, and he has good speed. So Medich allows a hit, and he is a stealing double-A, so he is going to try to steal, and he makes it easily with a 2. So we're going to mark down that he has a stolen base, and that will bring up Ron Oster, the second baseman. He gets a 4-12, and he would be batting left, and that is a fly ball to right field. So he flies out, which brings up Pete Rose. Pete Rose, who was recently made eligible to be voted into the Hall of Fame now. His ineligibility was lifted. I'm all in favor of that, and he gets a 3-7, which is going to be a single. And we will probably consider sending Gary Redus, who is a running 1-17. We will try that. And it's a 20. He's gunned. He is gunned out. So he doesn't make it. And there is a second out right there. And that brings up Dave Parker. And he gets a 6-5. And 6-5 is going to be a fly to left. So they end up getting 2 hits, but no runs, thanks to the fact that Gary Redus was gunned out at home plate. And no runs come in for the Reds in the first. So that brings us to the bottom of the first inning, where the Pirates will hit. The Pirates lineup will be Rennie Stenick leading off and playing second base. Batting second will be Richie Hebner, the third baseman. Al Oliver will bat third and play center. Bill Robinson will bat in the cleanup spot and play right field. Willie Stargell bats fifth. He plays first base. Richie Zisk will bat sixth and play left. Manny Sanguillen will bat seventh and be the catcher. Tommy Helms will bat eighth and play shortstop. And, of course, Doc Medich will be the pitcher batting ninth. Rennie Stenick is up, and he gets a 6-6, and that will be a strikeout. So there is a strikeout for Tibbs. Jay Tibbs and Richie Hebner will be the second batter. He gets a 3-10, and 3-10 is going to be an out. It is going to be a line out to second base, and Al Oliver is the batter with 2 down. He gets a 6-6, and that is going to be a line out to first base. So they get no hits and no runs, and we have a 0-0 game as we head to the second inning. Yeah. So everything checking out. We're in the top of the second, a 0-0 game. Eddie Milner is the batter. He gets a 3-12, and that is going to be a pop out to first base. There's one down, and that brings up Dave Concepcion. He gets a 5-6, batting right, and that's going to be a strikeout. That is the first strikeout for Medich, and Wayne Krenchicki is up with 2 down quickly, and he gets a 2-9, and that's going to be a ground ball to first base. So they get no runs, they get no hits. We go to the bottom of the second inning. Bill Robinson will be the batter for the 76 Pirates. He gets a 6-6, and that is going to be a strike. Tibbs with his second strikeout. Still hasn't allowed any hits or base runners. Willie Stargell is up. He gets a 6-8. 6-8 will be a single. That is the first hit that Tibbs has given up. Maybe I jinxed him. I don't know. Richie Zisk is up with 1 down and a man at first. And he gets a 4-6. 4-6 will be a ground ball to the shortstop X. That's the first X we've got. The shortstop for the Reds is a 3E27. And let's see, 3E27 at shortstop. And let's see, that was I think we were going to roll for the, well, no, it's a 19 roll. All right, so it's a 19 roll, it's a 3, and it's a ground ball A. So that is going to be a double play and end the inning. And they got 1 hit, but no runs. We go to the top of the third inning where Bo Diaz is going to be the batter. He gets a 4-5, and 4-5 is going to be a ground ball shortstop X. Again, it's a 3-16, probably an out, and it is. So Bo Diaz goes 6-3, and that brings up Jay Tibbs, the pitcher. He gets a 2-7, which is a strikeout. Medich has his second strikeout. It's the pitcher, Jay Tibbs, is the victim. There's 2 down and nobody on. And Gary Reed is up, and he gets a 4-8. 4-8 is going to be a ground ball to the shortstop, 6-3. No runs, no hits. We go to the bottom of the third. Bottom of the third, and Richie Zisk is no. Sanguillen is the batter. Manny Sanguillen is up, since Zisk was the one who hit into the inning-ending double play in the second. And that is going to be a 2-5, and a 2-5 is a single. So Sanguillen is aboard with a hit. Hit given up by Tibbs. That's his second hit allowed. And Tommy Helms is the batter. He gets a 3-7, and 3-7 is going to be a pop-out to shortstop. Well, we're going to let the pitcher hit. We're going to let Medich hit because there's 1 out already. And he gets a 2-7, which is a strikeout. Same roll that Tibbs got, and same result. Third strikeout for Tibbs. And that brings up Rennie Stennett back to the top of the order. He gets a 2-5, which is a single. We aren't going to send the batter an extra base. We're not going to send the base runner an extra base. That's Sanguillen. I'm not really confident that he had all that great running ability. So there's runners at first and second with 2 down. And let's see. Yeah, and Richie Hebner is up. That is a 6-7 against the left-handed batter. And that's going to be a ground ball to second. The second baseman for the Reds is a 2E10. That is a 13. 13 and 2 is a ground ball, and that is going to be the inning. He goes out, bounces out 4-3. They did get 2 hits, but they got no runs. We remain tied at 0 going into the top of the fourth between these 2 very good teams. And Ron Oster will be the first hitter in the fourth. He gets a 110. That's a ground ball, pitcher A. So he is out 1-3. Brings up Pete Rose. Pete Rose recently eligible to be voted to the Hall of Fame. As I said, I am all in favor of that. I am a big believer that nobody that had any transgression should be left off of the Hall of Fame. And that includes Bonds, it includes Clemens, it includes Pete Rose. And here is Pete Rose with a 2-5 and a ground ball third base. So he is going to bounce out 5-3. And that brings up Dave Parker. And he gets a 5-12, batting left. And that's going to be a ground ball to the first baseman. The first baseman for the Pirates is a 4E19, and that's a 13. And that is going to be that's going to be on the E rating. So we're going to have to roll the dice for the E rating. And let's see, he is a 19. That's a 4. So we go to 19, and a 4 is going to be an E1. So the first baseman makes an error there. So Parker is aboard with an E3, and that brings up Eddie Milner. There are 2 down, and he gets a 2-6, which is going to be a ground ball to the first baseman. So they get no hits and no runs. In the 4th, we go to the bottom of the 4th, where Al Oliver will be the hitter. And he gets a 2-11, which is going to be a ground ball to the pitcher. Bill Robinson is up. He's the cleanup hitter. Let's see if he can hit one out of here. He gets a 6-4. 6-4 is that's an out. It's going to be a line out to second. And that brings up Willis Sturgill. 2 down. Nobody on. He gets a 6-4. 6-4 is going to be a line out to second base. So no runs, no hits, and we go to the 5th inning. The 5th inning, and it is still tied at 0. Nobody has scored yet. Dave Concepcion, the batter, here in the 5th. He gets a 6-4 roll, and a 6-4 would be a catcher card X. The catcher for the 76 Pirates is a 3E8. That is a 2. So that'll be interesting. Let's see what that is. 2 and a 3 is a pass ball plus a pop out. So there is a pop out to the catcher for 1 away, which brings up Wayne Krenchicki. He gets a 1-11, and that will be a line out to second base. And that brings up Bo Diaz. He gets a 4-7. 4-7 is going to be a ground ball to third, 5-3. No hits, no runs. Seems to be the status quo for every inning. Bottom of the 5th inning, the Pirates are coming up with Richie Zisk batting as the first hitter. He gets a 5-9. 5-9 is a line out to second base. Sanguillen comes up, the catcher. He gets a 1-3. 1-3 is going to be a ground ball to first base. And that brings up Tommy Helms, the 8th hitter, and the shortstop today for the Pirates. Gets a 1-9, and that's going to be a fly to left. No hits, no runs. Again, status quo. We have a 0-0 game going to the top of the 6th inning, and the first batter in that inning for the Reds will be Jay Tibbs, the pitcher. He gets a 2-7, and that is again a strikeout. Same exact role he had last time. Medich with his 3rd strikeout, 2 of them against Tibbs, which brings up Gary Redus. We're back to the top of the lineup. 4 for Redus is going to be a ground ball shortstop. He goes out 6-3, and Ron Oster is the batter with 2 down. And he gets a 5-9. He would be batting left, and that is a ground ball to the second baseman. He goes out 4-3. They get no hits, no runs. Bottom of the 6th in still a 0 game, and now Medich is the batter that leads off, just like Jay Tibbs led off for the Reds. And he gets a 2-6, which is a strikeout, close to what he got the last time, but not the same exact. Tibbs with his 4th strikeout, 2 of them against Medich. Rennie Stennett, and he gets a 2-9, and that is going to be a fly ball to right field, which brings up Richie Hebner with 2 down. Game is moving right along, but there's no score yet by anybody. 3-6 is going to be a line out to second base. So no hits, no runs. It's the same thing. We go to the top of the 7th in a 0-0 game. Now we are going to play with the rules from 1976, so there is no ghost runner in this game. Pete Rose is the hitter. He gets a 3-6. That's a fly to right. Bringing up Dave Parker, and he gets a 1-2, and that is going to be a strikeout. So that is a strikeout for Medich. 4th strikeout of the game for him, and Eddie Milner up. Now I like this particular game because you've got the newer remade cards for the Pirates, and you have the actual original set for the 85 Reds, and that makes distinguishing who is who a little easier. if you know what I mean. 5-9 for Eddie Milner is going to be a ground ball to the second baseman. So again, no runs, no hits. We go to the bottom of the seventh. I really want somebody to score because I don't want to play this game forever. Concepcion, let's see. No, Al Oliver for the Pirates. Yeah, he gets a 4-7 batting left, and that's going to be a walk. So Al Oliver works his way on, thank God, with a walk. That's the first walk issued in this game by either pitcher, and it's Tibbs who issues it. Oliver is a stealing C, so we're not going to do that. Bill Robinson is up, good hitter. 5-8, and that is going to be a pop out to first base. Willie Stargell is up, another good hitter. 1 down, 1 on. 1-8 is going to be a pop out to second base. And that with 2 down, that brings up Richie Zisk. Richie Zisk also was a good hitter, and he had a little pop. 5-7, and that is going to be a single. Barely, but it is. So runners are at first and second with 2 down. And Manny Sanguillen up. And he gets a 3-9, and a 3-9 is going to be a ground ball to the second baseman. So they ended up getting 1 hit, but no run. We go to the top of the 8th. The Reds batting in the top of the 8th in a 0-0 game. Dave Concepcion I have as a hitter, and that is exactly who it is. And he gets a 1-12, which is a fly ball to center. Wayne Kranchicki is the batter. He gets a 3-9, and that's going to be a walk. So they get a guy aboard, and that is the first walk issued by Medich. Only 2 walks issued in this game. Pitchers with both pitchers with very good control. 1 down, 1 on, and Bo Diaz is the hitter. He gets a 2-9, which is a pop out to shortstop. Now, here's the decision for me. You have Jay Tibbs up. I'm going to pinch hit for Jay Tibbs, even though with this original set, there aren't really a lot of options. I'm going to pinch hit Nick Asaski. So Nick Asaski will pinch hit. We'll see if he can do something. That is a 4-10, batting right, and that is going to be a ground ball third base. He cannot. So they get no hits, no runs. We go to the bottom of the 9th, or the bottom of the 8th, and the new pitcher for the Reds will be Ted Power. So Jay Tibbs, we close the book on Jay Tibbs. He goes 7 innings, gives up 4 hits and a walk and no runs. And Ted Power coming on. Tommy Helms will be the first batter to face him, and also Medich will be up this inning, so we're going to have to see what happens. That is a 5-7 for him, and that's going to be a ground ball to the second baseman. The second baseman for the Reds is a 2E10. That is an 11, and that is going to be on the E rating. So we'll roll for that. 6. E10 and a 6 is going to be a ground ball, so he's out. He's out 4-3, which brings up the pitcher Medich. Now, Medich is pitching very well, but they do want to get a pinch hitter in there for him, too. So the pinch hitter is going to be Omar Moreno. 1 down already. A 1-5 is a walk. Moreno is aboard, and he can steal. He is a stealing A. He will go. That is a 7. There's no way he's thrown out, so he does steal first base. Or second base, sorry. And that is going to be a hit allowed by Power. And we'll have to see now. Rennie Stennett is up. Yeah. Top of the order with a man at second and only 1 out. That is a 4-8, and that is going to be a strikeout. 2 away. First strikeout for Ted Power, and Richie Hebner is up. 5-8, batting left. That's going to be a fly to right. So they managed to get 1 hit, but no runs. And we go to the 9th inning. The 9th inning of a 0-0 game. Still, Kent DeColvey will come on for the Pirates. Medich goes 7. He allows only 2 hits and a walk and strikes out 4, allowing no runs. And Gary Redus is the leadoff hitter of the 9th. That is a 2-2, and that's a home run! Gary Redus. Let's see. Yep, that is. Gary Redus goes deep and gives the Reds a lead. We have the first lead of the game as he greets DeColvey with a home run. That brings up Ron Oster. He gets a 4-8. Batting left, that's going to be a single. DeColvey is falling apart immediately. I mean, he didn't waste any time. Pete Rose is up. No outs, man at first. 5-7. That is going to be because he would be batting left against the righty. 2 men on, nobody out yet at all. And Dave Parker. And he gets a 1-5, which is a 3-run home run. Oh my God, they busted out here. DeColvey gives up a hit and 3 more runs, and it is 4-0. And they're going to take DeColvey out. DeColvey doesn't even go any innings. He goes 0 innings and gives up 4 runs. So who is going to replace DeColvey? With this set, this is a recreated set, so I have more of a choice of, people that can come in. They're going to bring in Dave Justy. And a funny story about Dave Justy is that my father, when he played high school baseball, actually faced Dave Justy. And Dave Justy at the time had a no-hitter going. And my father got the only hit off of him. So Eddie Milner is now up against Justy. And he gets a 6-4. And that'll be a fly to center. The center fielder for the Pirates is a 3-8. That is a 14. And that will be a fly ball. So there's 1 down. Concepcion is the batter. He gets a 5-6. 5-6 is that's going to be a double. So Concepcion hits a double. They just came to life here. They were tired of this, and so was I. Wayne Krenchicki comes up, and he gets a 3-9, which is a walk. And Justy walks Krenchicki, so I guess this really wasn't DeColvey's fault. You got to believe this would all have happened anyway. 2 on, 1 out, Bo Diaz up. He gets a 5-2, and a 5-2 is going to be a ground ball to the first baseman. The first baseman is for the is a 4E19. That doesn't bode well. That is a 12, and that will be, we got to go to the E rating, and that's a 5 on an E19, and that is going to be an E1. They did not need that, so that's an error on the first baseman. Bo Diaz aboard with the error, and that brings up the pitcher, and they're going to let him hit because, I mean, they're ahead 4-0, and they couldn't get anything up until now. And a 1-5 is going to be a strikeout. And that's going to be a strikeout for Justy, looking for small miracles. So they have 2 outs, only 2 outs. And back to the top of the order with Gary Redus, who led off the inning with a home run. And he gets a 1-3, which is going to be a single to right field and knock in a run. They're just going to keep the merry-go-round. They're just going to keep it going. And that single knocks in Concepcion, and now they have a... Oh, wait a minute. No, he was that home run. Yeah. So, yeah, it's 5-0, and Ron Oster is the batter. He gets a 2-6, and 2-6 is crazy. It's a single double asterisk. Now, I mean, really, the inning can end now. That knocks in Diaz and Redus. Wait a minute. No, it knocks in Krenchicki and Diaz. And it moves Redus to third with Pete Rose up. 110 for Pete Rose. That's a strikeout. And finally, they're out of the inning. But they do get, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 runs. So it's 7-0. Now the Pirates need 7 runs, and they let the pitcher hit, so they're going to keep Ted Power in and let him try to get the rest of it. Al Oliver is the batter. He gets a 6-4, and that's going to be a double. So I don't know. Maybe they're not ready to lay down and die. A double allowed by Ted Power. That's his second hit allowed since coming on last inning. Brings up Bill Robinson. He gets a 4-3. That's going to be a fly to left field. The left fielder is a 2E5. That is a 10. That's going to be on the E5, so we have to roll for the air. 8. And 8 will be a fly ball. So he flies out to 7. Stargell is up. 1 down, man at second. That is a 2-11. That is going to be a ground ball first base C. So the first baseman makes his play, but the runner moves to third. And Is that Willie Stargell is up? No, Zisk is up. Now Richie Zisk is the batter with 2 down. That is a 5-7. That's going to be a ground ball to the second baseman. The second baseman is a 2E10. That is an 8. And we got to go to the error rating. 7 on an E10 is going to be a ground ball, and that is the game. So he goes out 4-3. They get 1 hit, no runs. And the Pirates win this, or the Reds, the 1985 Reds win this by a score of 7-0. All 7 runs being scored in the 9th and final inning of the game. And that is it for me, Sportsman Z, Bob Zolke, signing off.